Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed a significant development in the ongoing conflict with Russia. Ukrainian troops are operating within Russia's Kursk region. This marks the first time Zelensky officially acknowledged Ukrainian forces fighting on Russian soil. The incursion represents a shift in the conflict's dynamics. Zelensky's statement brings the operation into the open, signaling a new phase in the conflict. Ukrainian troops have reportedly established positions within the region, raising questions about their long-term objectives. It signals Ukraine's willingness to take the fight to Russian territory, challenging the Kremlin's narrative. The international community is closely watching the developments in Kursk. Ukrainian forces have reportedly made advances within the Kursk region, capturing and holding territory. Videos circulating on social media appear to show Ukrainian soldiers removing Russian flags and replacing them with Ukrainian ones. The response from Russian authorities has been swift, indicating the seriousness with which they view the incursion. The governor of the Kursk region has urged authorities to expedite evacuations from border areas, with over 76,000 people already displaced. Russia has imposed a counter-terrorist operation regime in Kursk, Bryansk, and Belgorod regions. This regime grants authorities broader powers, including the ability to restrict movement, conduct searches, and detain individuals without warrants. The imposition of the counter-terrorist regime has raised concerns about potential human rights violations. The Ukrainian incursion into Kursk is having a profound impact on civilians on both sides of the border. In Russia's Kursk region, tens of thousands of people have been displaced from their homes due to the fighting. The conflict is also taking a toll on civilians in Ukraine. Despite the focus on the fighting in Kursk, Russia continues to launch missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities. These attacks have resulted in civilian casualties, including the tragic deaths of a 4-year-old boy and his father in the Kyiv region. International organizations are providing humanitarian assistance to those affected by the conflict. The human cost of the conflict continues to rise, with no end in sight. Section 4. International reactions and concerns. The international community has expressed deep concern over the escalation of the conflict. Western governments, while continuing to provide military and financial support to Ukraine, have urged both sides to exercise restraint. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation, but no concrete actions or resolutions were agreed upon. Neighboring countries, particularly those bordering Russia and Ukraine, are increasingly anxious about the potential for the conflict to spill over their borders. These countries are taking steps to bolster their defenses and are calling for a de-escalation of tensions. The need for dialogue and diplomacy is more urgent than ever to prevent a wider war. Section 5. The Kremlin's narrative challenged. The Ukrainian incursion into Kursk presents a significant challenge to the Kremlin's narrative about the conflict. Russian authorities have consistently framed the war as a special military operation aimed at protecting the Russian-speaking population in eastern Ukraine. The presence of Ukrainian troops on Russian soil undermines this narrative. The Kremlin has sought to downplay the significance of the incursion, portraying it as a desperate attempt by Ukraine to appease its Western backers. However, the scale of the Russian response suggests that the Kremlin is taking the situation very seriously. The events in Kursk represent a propaganda setback for the Kremlin. Section 6. The urgent need for peace. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine underscores the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. The human cost of the war continues to rise, with civilian casualties mounting on both sides. The international community must prioritize efforts to bring an end to the fighting. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential to finding a lasting solution. A sustainable peace agreement must address the root causes of the conflict, including Ukraine's sovereignty and security concerns. The world is watching with bated breath as the situation in Ukraine unfolds. The future of Ukraine, the security of Europe, and the stability of the international order hang in the balance.